morning and welcome to my channel. It's quite early in the morning here, so I've got lights on. I hope this video turns out all right. One of the things I'm going to carry on with this year is using up what I've got in my stash. I need to use up what I've got and not buy any more. That includes printables as well. So I'm going to carry on using up my sewing patterns. So today what I want to do is make a tag. Now, one of the other things I've got is this box of little notebook tags, chipboard tags, tiny tags that I've bought over the years, some wooden tags. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with them, but I'm sure I'll find something. Some tags I've cut out on my silhouette, different types. I've also got tags from shops, so, and I haven't done anything with them, so I thought I need to start using these up as well. So one of the things I'm going to do is use this, I'm not sure which way round, maybe not that piece. Nope, not that piece. I need to find a piece that's big enough for this to go over twice. What have I got here? Oh yeah, this will do it. So what I'm going to do is put that down there and cover that over like that. But before I do all that, I found a scrap of paper because I want something underneath. So I found this scrap of paper. I think it was from something else we've made. So I'm going to put this onto here. And I still haven't learnt to put my glues upside down. So I hope, I know a few videos have come out, but I can't remember whether I asked or not that Christmas was okay. Yeah, I want that side where it's got most of the flowers. So I'm going to put that down on there. Use this to really squidge it down. Oh, no, not that one. That's my... That's the one I use for cutting my corners on my tags. Don't want to be using that one. Right, so I'm going to cut round this. Yeah, so I hope Christmas has gone okay. This is probably a few weeks into January this is coming out, so, and I've more than likely asked you that already. But I am making this in between Christmas and New Year. So you do forget what you've asked. Right, so I've done that. Now I just want to put this down on here. I think I'll use this one. My, well, the equivalent to Fabri-Tac 3-in-1. I'm using my block from Craftelia, or the Spanish equivalent over here. I haven't crafted over Christmas, so my glues ended up being very getting left, and they got a little bit dried out or clogged up. Not quite sure why. I mean, we have had good weather here, so that's one thing. Right, put that on there. And then again, putting this straight onto the tag. Right. Like that. Whoops. So yes, I've got some plans for this year. Oops, I need to pull that right over. Like that. Yeah, I have some plans for this year of different journals I want to make. One of the reasons I'm doing this as well is I do want to make a sewing journal. In fact, probably a couple, because I want to sort of do a, I don't know what you call it, a vintagey type one, but I also want to do a retro one. Oh, and talking about retro, I'm thinking of doing a Pin-Up Girls journal as well, which will obviously be very, very retro. I've got a Spanish Hollywood magazine that there's a lot of Pin-Up Girls in. So I'm hoping to do that. And maybe I'll get around to my mushroom journal eventually, or fungi, or whatever you want to call it. Right, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll be sewing around that. And I'm also going to make a journal card. So what I've done, I've got some scrap of coffee dyed paper, and I printed out a sheet of a printable. Now you're going to ask me where it's from, aren't you? I think this was antique papery. In fact, I'm pretty certain it was. I'm not too sure. I've got some ephemera as well, which I know is from Caroline's Craft Tree and antique papery. I'm not so sure this is antique papery, you know. I've also got some Digital Collage Club sewing ephemera. And to be truthful, I've been wanting to do a sewing journal for about 2 years. And over the years, I've been collecting freebies, all to do with sewing from all sorts of places. Victoria Designs, the Graphic Fairy. So I've got plenty of what I need to be using. I think I'm going to put it there in that corner over there. So I've got to glue this down. And then what I'm going to do is I will sew round the edges next after I've done this. Yes, I said that side, didn't I? There. I'm still having problems with the sewing machine. I've tried all different tensions. Admittedly, what I haven't done, I've been using a lot of tissue. I haven't actually used it on just paper. I've had other mediums over it, so maybe that could be it as well. I don't know. But I need to do some practicing with it and see what other, using different textiles, what I've done, and different mediums, making sure the tension's working. So really stick that down. There. Right, so I just need to let that dry. So next is putting some of this tissue paper on, and then it will be sewing, well, letting it dry first, and then sewing around the tag and the journal card, and see how that goes this time. So that's going, I don't know if you know, but the tissue paper has a rough side and a shiny side. The shiny side is the bit I'm putting it on inside. So the rough side's on the outside. Now, for instance, something like that, I think I would probably leave. I have thought if I've got a lot of wording, I would put some coffee paper for you to write on, but actually, when you've got it like that, you could probably write onto that with a very fine liner type pen, not a biro, because I think that would tear the tissue. So I'm just going to cover this, and then I'll be back to sort out decorating and sewing. So I'm not worried about crinkles. A lot of people use oh dear, glue sticks, because they can then really get rid of the wrinkles with the glue stick apparently, but I'm not too worried about wrinkles. I quite like them when you're doing tissue paper. And my daughter-in-law for Christmas bought me some Tim Holtz tissue paper rolls. So I'm going to need to use them at some point as well. Not quite sure when. Right, I'll let that dry and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, it's all dry. Oh, the tension is still atrocious, so I've sort of done a wiggly one on that. And on this, it's just awful, but I'm going to have to go with it. I will try and see whether it makes any difference if I just go back to using card. A couple of people did say they thought it could just be it's the tissue paper. Anyway, so the next thing is I'm going to ink a lot of ink. Well, not a lot of ink, but I want to darken it up around here. So I'm using Vintage Photo to do this. And then what I will do is use ground espresso to go around the edges. So I've inked both of these, and now I think I'll do the tag first. This is some of the sewing ephemera that I've cut out, and I thought one of these would fit quite nicely on here. Quite like the scissors and safety pins actually. Or that one. No, I think I quite like the scissors and safety pins. Just take the white edge off, even though it's got a dark edge. You still get that bit of paper, don't you? Right, I've got in here some lace scraps and some cheesecloth. I think I'm going to put this down here with my scissors. There they are. Cut that off there. Yeah, and then I will use the glue stick to sort of whoosh it all up is the word, I think. So, right, like this. Anyway, I haven't asked, are you all doing okay? Or should I do it this way? I think this way. Are you all doing okay? Did you all have well, I've asked if you had a good Christmas. Have you had a good New Year? That's the other one, isn't it? We're just waiting for today for some friends to arrive that moved to France from here, some Danish friends. And they're, I'll put that a bit up there. What else have I got? I've got some embossing paper, some I embossed quite a bit of card. Let's use this to whoops, well, that doesn't matter. Oopsie daisy, because I think I'm going to be putting this under here. Actually, that doesn't matter, because I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Put that like that. There. And then I've got a pot of lace scraps, and this was given to me by a friend for Christmas. Sort of like a bias binding. She does quilting. What else have I got? I've got some of that. That's a bit big for that. Oh, I know, I've got this. If I put that on there, or what if I don't put that on there? I'm actually going to save that for this over there. Yes, I'm going to save that for that. I think what I'm going to do is just put this down here like that, hang it over a bit. Yes, because then there'll be enough room for a hole there. That's what I'm going to do. way. This one. Yes, I got this. Friend gave me a lot of trims. She'll say she's a quilter, and she gave me a lot of trims for Christmas, which I thought was very nice of her. So I'll be using them throughout the year. Okay, now we've got glue issues again. Hopefully not. Oh dear. How far is that going to go? There. This I tore it off something that was on cardboard. I can't remember where I got it from now. Obviously a charity shop at some point. Oh dear, it's not coming out very well. Poke that in there. Ah, that's better. Oh yeah, it suddenly went pop. So put that down there. So what are you all doing for the crafting wise in the new year? Any projects you've got on the go? Let me know down below. Or any new ideas, setting yourself some goals. I kind of do a goal setting. Now up there. Actually, I think I prefer that up there. Yeah, I do a kind of goal setting in my crafting and in my everyday life as well. Like last year it was moving house. That was a big one. And for the last 2 years I've had on the board completing courses and starting new ones, and I haven't got anywhere with it. Right, so that's going back on for the 3rd year. What I've got here is some like button cards. These came from Caroline's Craft Tree. They're all quite large, but I found one that will fit on here, on there. So what I think I'm going to do is put that down, overhang it, put that over to that side, and remember this. I think I'm going to put that on like that. What do you reckon? But what I am going to do, and I must admit I have prepared this in advance to a certain extent, but I'll show you what else I'll do. I've got some buttons that I'm going to put on here like that there. But I've to start off with, I want them to look like they've been sewn on. Get my needle and thread it. It is a large needle. It doesn't really matter what size needle you... Oops. Well, that didn't work, did it? Even though it's got a large eye. Doesn't matter what size needle, because you're just putting thread just to make look like they've been sewn onto the card. And you just tie it off at the back, cut your pieces off. And then what I plan to do is, if this does come out, is stick these down, whoops, on here. I've just selected random buttons out of my box. So they go on like that, and then I'm just going to go around the edge here with the ground espresso. What with the what's it, walnut stain in this? I'm definitely going darker. Well, I'm going to let that dry. And one of the other things I'm going to do is use the vintage photo just still got glue over me. Ink this up, this piece of embossed. I do like using everything. I've only just started doing the embossing, only because I'd forgotten about my embossing folders. So I was thinking that could go there, that goes on there, and then that will go there. Right, back to this glue again. I think I'll put it on here. Yeah, I've got some of those Crafter's Companion 3D embossing folders, and do you know, I've never used them. I got them when I bought the Gemini cutter, and when I go to the craft club now, you know, we do all sorts of things. I'm using it to catch up on things I haven't used or forgotten about, and this was one of them. This is what I'm saying, you know, I really do need to start using things up. Oops, that's a bit too far over. So if I do that down the edge there, there. Oh yeah, I like them. Even though the even though the stitching wasn't brilliant on the back, I wouldn't bother putting anything on the back because you've got quite a bit of room to actually write there, but I might with these just to cover up the awful tension. So I am now going to go away and try and sort out my sewing machine, and actually, because I've left it over Christmas and I thought maybe if I left it, it might start playing nicely, but it hasn't. So I'm going to go back and see if just sort of going round something like this is better, and it is just down to the tissue paper and the thickness of the card maybe. These are quite thick, quite sturdy. Okay, thanks very much for watching. I hope that was okay, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Don't forget to hit that like button. I hope you're having a good start to the new year, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.